everything you need to know about the ASI token merger. If you hold Fetch, if you hold AGIX, if you hold Ocean, heck, even if you hold Render, this is the video for you. We have all the details. What is going to happen to your wallet? What is going to happen to your portfolio? What's going to happen to the tokens? Do you need to trade them? Do you need to swap them? Do you need to just do nothing and watch the money pour in? We have all that for you today. And Josh, his portfolio is not underwater, but his eardrum is. And so if you see him acting a little funny, it's not he's not hearing like weird radio signals in his brain.
No, I got that crackling noise going on right now. So it's going to be a good day, but we're feeling good at these markets. We came out to like $66,000 last night.
Yeah.
Are we still there? Are we still green?
Finally, you know what?
We're finally going up?
Let's go to CoinGecko right now. Let's see. Hey, we are starting soon. No, we've already started, everybody.
My bad.
Hit the like button for, we're ironing out the wrinkles.
TJ forgot how to hit the button.
He forgot how to hit the buttons, everybody. In fact, he didn't even know how to pop up his face right there. He is right here.
Here I am.
He is powered by Arculus. Really.
You got the black t-shirt on?
Black tee.
All right. Hey, everybody rocking the black tee. Josh, what are you doing over there?
I was going for skin color.
You just want to blend in.
I want to just blend into my surroundings. That's exactly what I
All right, well, let's blend right into the markets here. We have Bitcoin relatively flat. It is up 0.1%. ETH is down 0.1%. So we're not seeing too much movement, but Solana, it is down a little bit more. It is down 1.3%. XRP up slightly. Toncoin up 4%. One of the bigger gainers today. Keep scrolling down. We're really not seeing anything until near protocol, because it is an AI resurgence day. We're going to talk all about the AI tokens, including the ASI token merger, finally getting details. Everybody's been waiting for these details. But look at the AI tokens just smashing the competition today. Fetch is up 19%. I hope you Fetch used some of that in the past week. Singularity is up 16.3%. Still way down from being near $1. But it's good seeing the pump today. We have Jupiter. Jupiter is pumping. This is the DEX, I would say. It's more of a DEX than a centralized exchange. The DEX on Solana. Ordi is up 7.7%. How do you feel about that, Josh?
Ordi, I mean, we need a lot more than, a little bit of a percentage bump on our Bitcoin DeFi. But I have high hopes for it. I do have high hopes for it. What I want to check today really quick was seeing if Ondo was still moving up with the markets. Oh, look at that. $1.24. It just doesn't break. It actually hit 130 almost last night. That's insane. That's insane.
Love that. Floki also, getting really, really close to knocking off another decimal point, or not so much a decimal point. I'm going to move from the 1 to the 2 there. Core is up as well, near, like we said, Sui and Say. Chat, I always say these things like to hold hands and move together. TJ, is this too smooth brain a thought here? They move together because their names are similar.
I don't know if that's a smooth brain thought, but hey, if it works,
it worked. I mean, I noticed that they like to move in tandem. The graph also, kind of piggybacking off that AI pump. If you look on a lot of categories, you'll see the graph under AI. But let's look at the biggest losers. And folks, there's a secret DZ's going to share with you. This is how you prevent your coins being the biggest losers. You just got to click the little button. Click the little button on the like button. Let's get these likes skyrocketing, everybody, like your AI tokens are. And the biggest loser, Layer 0, not the wrapper. Layer 0 is down 15%. Then after that, it cools down a little bit.
I actually saw something interesting on Layer 0 today. If you like it as a project in the technology, that's actually best buys you can see. It's almost the same price that the VCs got in. It's almost gone all the way back down to the VC price. So you're getting actually a better investment technically than VCs would be getting, because their stuff is locked up and it's on a schedule, obviously.
So maybe not those early rounds like Kobe, but maybe like a later KOL round is the price you're getting in at.
Well, it's even better than that, because you're not vested. Whatever you get, you have it all immediately. That's what I'm saying. They're still on vested schedules at almost the same included market values. If you like Layer 0, which I've been a fan of it from the technology side of it, it's actually a pretty good entry.
It's good marketing as well. It's like L1, L2, and then you're going to have some hotshot executive like Ryan from The Office say Layer 0. And some people are going to say, you know what? It must be better as 0 in it. Beam is also down 5%. Flare down 5%. Lido DAO, not coin, still, getting some losses here. ENS had a huge pump yesterday, and now you can see, it's a trace back a little bit. Uniswap as well. Polkadot, Arweave, Solana, and TIA. So a lot of these coins, had a good day yesterday and now just cooling off. But now we're going to talk about Binance liquidation heat map later on. There's some liquidation data. But we're going to also go into the charts later on. But first, we got to look at this AI. What's going on with the ASI merger? We got all the details. So first, let's kind of cover the price action. The surge 15% as NVIDIA tailwinds boosts Fetch AI and Render. Now, part of the reason we're seeing two catalysts pumping AI tokens today, Josh. One, we got NVIDIA hitting all-time high market cap, kind of blowing past the competition, plus the ASI token merger. I want to jump to NVIDIA now. NVIDIA passing Microsoft, passing Apple, passing Google, Amazon, Saudi Aramco, Meta, TSMC, and others like an NVIDIA competitor. What are your thoughts on NVIDIA? Now, NVIDIA being the most valuable company, should that pump AI tokens?
I mean, you would think so. It's been uptrend only, but like the narrative has completely shifted to meme coins and degeneracy over the last few months. I mean, there's like no fundamental value being like looked at when when you're trading crypto right now. So it is an interesting perspective because NVIDIA just broke and became the top company in the entire world. We're talking trillions of dollars being traded in and out of this market. And so, seeing AI not keep up with that kind of tells me that we could be looking for the next season of these AI tokens. I personally believe it might be around the Sora launch with OpenAI because there's going to be a huge need for DeepIn and rendering again. But right now, these are moving right now. We have fetched, at $1.61. In the last, let me even pull up this 15-minute chart here for you guys. You can see we went from roughly, what is that, buck 10 to all the way, so 58% pump,
nice,
64%. So it came down a little bit. We might be forming a little bit of a bullish flag, but again, AI is leading the markets in the last 24 hours.
Anthony D, NVIDIA is the next Enron. I would say that's patently just not going to happen. Enron, if you look at what collapsed Enron, it's very different from what NVIDIA is trying to do. And NVIDIA has a pretty good moat if you want to look into, as they keep upgrading.
Well, it just also their product is needed in everything.
Well, energy is needed, and Enron sold energy. All right, well, Enron knows, it was a big fugazi. All right, NVIDIA is now up almost 600,000% since its IPO. $10,000 is now worth $60 million. Yeah, you read that correctly. Let's see if we remove a comma. $10 is worth $59,000. That's also pretty cool right there. Well, let's talk about this token merge as well. So AI tokens have been booming as the total market cap grew nearly $28 billion, jumping 15% in the last day. Fetch AI kind of leading the way. Render also had a really good pump there. Fetch was up 30% at one point and 40% over the past month. Render, a little bit more muted. It was up only 2.3%, but it was still up 30% for the month there. Major catalyst was the performance of NVIDIA. Now, me and Josh were actually talking about why is NVIDIA's pumping not pumping the AI tokens? And then it just ended up happening about 2 hours after we had that conversation. We should have just longed all the AI tokens because we were literally saying, what is the catalyst needed for this big pump? And we're like, maybe it's like a NVIDIA, maybe it's going to be ASI details. We had no idea the ASI details were going to happen 2-4 hours later.
Then.
We were literally having the conversation. Well, what are the details? Let's actually get into the details here. The ASI token. We got a merger, but this tweet really just sums it up. So this is from the official ASI account. They just released this. This is their press release. So ASI, the collective comprising of Singularity, AGIX, Fetch, FET, and Ocean Protocol have today announced significant progress and updates on the ASI token merger. We're finally getting the ASI token merger updates scheduled starting July 1st. Now, what's nuts, that's only 10 days away. And so we're going to consolidate AGIX and Ocean into Fetch before they transition to the ASI ticker at a later date. So this is important. AGIX and Ocean are going to turn into Fetch. This is going to enable efficient execution of the token merger. So the steps here. Logos are going to be updated to ASI, going to undergo rebranding to ASI across major platforms, including exchanges. They will merge into the Fetch token. They're going to be merged into Fetch under the ASI banner. Fetch markets remain open under the Fetch banner. Trading of the new ASI tokens continue as usual under all markets under Fetch with under the FET ticker with no interruption. Starting July 1st, the names and logos are updated to ASI. Deposits and withdrawals for AGIX and Ocean begin to close across exchanges in preparation for the migration process. I have publicly stated I am staking AGIX on MinSwap. So if anybody who went on that journey with me, go into MinSwap, You're going to have to eventually unlock this or, unstake it within the next 10 days. So make sure you don't, I don't know what's going to happen if you don't end up doing that, but you don't want any complications with your bag. Deposits, withdrawals, trading for fetch continue as normal. Migration platform to fetch open on the Singularity DAO DApp, allowing holders to convert their tokens to fetch. AGIX and Ocean tokens begin to be delisted, and spot perpetual trading continues uninterrupted under the fetch ticker there. And so they're going to migrate to fetch. Here's the conversion right there. Here's the conversion rate for Ocean. Pretty much very, very similar right there. ASI across multiple chains upgrades to ASI network contracts. And then it gets into more of the EVM and the bridges and then more timeline stuff. But what are your thoughts here, Josh? Now we finally have some clarity. Is this going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news? Should I sell my AGIX today, sell it the day before July 1st, or just continue to be a long-term holder? What are your thoughts here?
Well, it depends on when you got in. So if you're somebody that got in like in the bottom of the bear market, I think holding at this point is just easy for you. But, from this perspective, I think it's going to be a GTC event. I mean, how many times have you seen a merger actually go well where the price actually continues to pump afterwards? So I look and I don't mean like it's not going to go up afterwards, but as in the rumor will happen, the event will happen, we'll get a pullback. That's the time to enter and then jump back into the market. And I've been waiting for this moment. We've talked about this dozens of times where we're like, hey, what's that next move? When are you jumping back into AI? And I've been like, after the ASI merger. I think that will be a buy the rumor sell news event. We've seen altcoins bleed like massively, especially the AI sector since GTC Summit. However, I think there is now some opportunity out there that you want to start paying attention to. Things like Render. I don't necessarily know. I don't even know if there's been an exact date yet. We've been trying to research this, and let us know if you know this in the chat. But Sora AI, when we have the next generation of ChatGPT, this is the upgrade where we're going to have video quality, like videos being produced from AI. This will change everything from animations and comics to movies. We're going to be using it in everything. And so there's going to be another massive demand, I believe, in wave of this need for DeepIn and AI. At the same time, we're going to have now AI integrated into your iPhones and phone devices. Now everybody's got to upgrade. So revenue is going to increase. Tech is going to continue to crush it. I think there's going to be a massive need for DeepIn moving into like Q3, Q4 this year. So it really depends about that narrative. But I'm incredibly bullish. I'm incredibly bullish.
I would say, yeah, Sora is going to be another catalyst. We need Sora to, have widespread adoption. We need to have, maybe less guardrails. People are going to want to be able to have, I would say, trademark characters. People are going to want to make Mario and Luigi fight Darth Vader. They're going to want to have, Pikachu, do something with Albert Einstein or something like that, or Ben Franklin. Now, TJ, what are your thoughts on this? Selling, holding, buying more, what would your strategy be with this ASI merger 10 days away?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. There's a couple questions in the chat too, where Hazard Shot said, "Hey, this is that timeline's the day before the ETH ETF. Is that a coincidence?" He says he doesn't think so. What do you guys think? Think they timed that up intentionally, picking that date to do this merger right before the ETH ETF?
I actually didn't even think about that because now we're talking about a 1-day difference. We're looking for a July 2nd ETF ETH news, and then this is July 1st. I'm leaning towards, I would say there's a there, TJ.
Yeah, I think so too. And if Josh and I, we actually went into Panama to the artificial or general intelligence AI conference with a lot of these same characters there. Obviously, the Ajax team there and a lot of other big thought leaders in that AI space, and they did time that up extremely well. It was right when Bitcoin was pumping, and we did kind of ask the people, "Hey, was there any thought that went into this?" And they said, "Yeah, we tried to time it pretty well." So with that, I do think we could see some really good price act. Like if you get some now, I do think you could ride into that and get some price action. I also agree with Josh that we probably will see a pullback after the merger. I mean, obviously, listing on Binance, having support from Binance on this merger is going to make a pretty good impact. I think AI coins, especially further into this bull market, are going to be a hot narrative. They will do extremely well. So it's just a matter of picking when you get your entry. We did have, I'm going to find it, a members question here from Crypto Glassworks. He said, "If I don't own any of those, should I start fetch now?" Obviously it's tough to say to buy something off a 25+% pump. But I do think, yes, holding fetch long term, if you're going to hold it into Q1 of 2025, accumulating some in this range, or maybe not long after the merge, like Josh was talking about, like, hey, the merge happens, all the hype comes, maybe a week or two goes by, price kind of retraces a little bit. That might be where you could start building some of your positions. But I fully expect AI to be one of the top narratives at the top of this market.
Yeah.
And Fetch, ASI, they're going to be a leader in that space, not only uh, practically with their connections in the industry and their actual work of production, but also it's the top 3 coins merging together to be a super coin. So I could see it doing extremely well. I could see it getting a lot of price action as time goes on. So yeah, I'd build your bags, but I'd build them slow. If you have conviction in AI, build it up, but don't get sucked into the FOMO.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I would be a buyer, but I would be a DCA buyer. I wouldn't just go ahead and, shoot my whole load today. I do think we're going to do a slow climb, and then there's going to be a dip near July 1st, whether it's 2 days before, the day of, the day after. I think, we'll be around that singular timeline. But if we get an ETH ETF denial on July 2nd, there's no guarantees. I think everything will be on sale over the next week. And then, you'll wish that you didn't deploy all your funds there. So I would do DCA. That would be my
And I'd add one thing to that with the, as those 3 projects pump, like there's still a lot of projects that are undervalued.
Near, a lot of people are saying Near is still going to be, I saw Jason, oh my God, that's Jason Bourne. Jason Bourne in the chat is saying Near is going to be the big AI winner. Yeah. What are your thoughts on Near being the big winner?
It's already been a big winner. I mean, we're talking $6, $7, $8 million or $1 billion market cap. You're going to have ASI now come in and topple that. Kind of be a top competitor, but Near started off as an AI production company. So it's like,
well, if you look at the Near chart, though, I'm looking at Near right now. I could actually see Near having, significant upside for its market cap size. It was $20. Right now, it's only around $5 if we hit market cap. Still a little bit of disparity there. They have done some tokens. However, look, I do see opportunity with Near. I do like Near at these prices. The problem with Near for me, I wouldn't say problem. I have a low average entry point. I got a lot under $2. I don't know how much I want to buy at $5 when my average entry point is under $2.
Yeah, and what I wanted to point out was the liquidation charts here, because you can pull them up on Fetch and all these right here. If we're looking at the 30-day, like we are, like when you look at Ethereum and the rest of the market that aren't AI tokens, they're all bullish. Like ASI and these, there's been a massive pump right into the Fetch, into Ocean, into Ajax, and those 3 tokens specifically turning into again ASI. Let's go to Near though, right? So if I was looking at AI tokens right now, I want to jump into, Near's a little bit more bullish, right? Near's a little bit more bullish on the 30-day at least. If we pull up, what's the other one here? Render.
Right? I do Render. Like Near, relatively speaking, for competing L1s. Near's high on my list.
Yeah, and I think Near's a great protocol too, right? So I would say, like, I would agree with you where you said I would be dollar cost averaging. We already missed that like 25-30% pump. We were talking about this last night with why haven't these moved
why
the market.
We long these coins,
I don't know.
Man.
We were just like, we're going to make a video on this weekend. And it was just like, it was one of those moments.
We were like brainstorming. What's the catalyst? What is the catalyst? Yeah. Maybe the ASI details. Whenever that happens, 2 hours later, it happens.
2 hours later. So I would say if you guys looking to jump into AI, it might be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. This is maybe where you want to test DCAing. There's a lot of good opportunity out there, I think, for this. I agree with TJ. I think it's going to be one of the biggest narratives this cycle. And I think the next narrative for AI is going to be the video side of this. So that's going to bring back rendering. Right? That's going to bring back the need for that DPIN. So I think it's going to be a big narrative.
It looks like we got a lot of Near holders in the chat. Hit that like button if you do hold some Near. Real quick, TJ, what's your 1 or 2 sentence thoughts on Near? Are you a buyer Near around $5?
Yes, I'm a buyer of Near. I like, I would echo everything you guys said. Love Near. It's great protocol, good projects, good tech. And I expect it to usually that is kind of where, if I think it's going to be here a year from now, I think it's in the top of a good narrative, then I'm a buyer. I like it. Real quick, I know you went through some of that information pretty quickly. We do have some members' questions. I just want to confirm. JT says if we hold Ajax on an exchange, they will do the swap, correct?
It does appear that it'll change the ticker for you, but I do want to say it's going to be an exchange by exchange basis. There might be some exchanges saying, I don't want to help facilitate the changeover. There might be some that say, oh yeah, do nothing and we got it all on the back end and we'll update our API and don't you worry. So, I would just say, check with whatever exchange you might have it on, see if they've released an official statement on it. I know personally, I'm going to unstake my AGIX, probably, maybe swap it into ADA or look into, the official swap into Fetch. Looks like they have that Singularity DApp. A Singularity DAO DApp that's going to help facilitate all that. So I will look into that.
Kelly Kellum said if you're on Binance, I would imagine Binance is supporting, or Coinbase, they most likely And then somebody else asked if I hold it on a ledger, what should I do? Similarly, I would find, Binance we know is supporting it, or find an exchange that you know is supporting it. And generally, you put it on the exchange and they handle it for you. But if you could retweet that thread, the ASI thread, DZ, then people can find all that information.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I will go ahead and give it a quote tweet right here. All the ASI info.
So you guys just go follow DZ underscore or .btc.
DZ_BTC. And I'm actually trying to get the taproot.btc. So, maybe even get my BTC domain name. I ask about you too, Joshua Jake. So I don't know if maybe look for a DM on that.
I'll go post it in the chat for you just a second. I did want to point out though, because speaking of like DeepIn and AI, one of the best networks that is development on it is Solana by far. And I have to show the liquidation map on Solana.
Solana in my mind is very bullish because we're at the bottom of some ranges that look like buying zones.
Look, this is fetch on the 30-day, right? Definitely more bearish than bullish, which tells me if we lead up to this event very bullish, it's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event, right? Because you're going to have that event take place, then a little bit of correction. That's when you would want to jump in.
And for those who don't know, on the left side, that's a liquidation area for a long. So all these people on the left side, all those little bars on the left side, they're betting it goes higher. But if it goes to that bar, they get wrecked.
Yeah,
and so that's why there's more lines on the left side, but we're saying it is bullish.
100%. You could think of it like a game of tug of war. Okay, on the left side you have your bulls, on the right side you have your bears. Okay, so what are bears? Well, bears are people that are placing shorts. So
wait, they're not the people in the parades?
No, not quite. Those are furries. But we have So when you guys see on the right side, all these lines right here, these are bear positions. And if the price goes to these bear positions, they will get wiped out. And it's vice versa. These are bulls. These are people betting on prices are going to go up. So if the price comes down to here, it liquidates their positions. So this is a game of tug of war between buyers and sellers. And it's very, very simple. If the red side, guys, is higher, that's bearish. If the green side is higher, that's bullish. Okay? That's how this market works. So when we're looking at fetch, the 30-day kind of definitely be like, all right, maybe we're getting a lot of price action. Do I want to enter now? Maybe not. But look at Solana, right? Where most your DeepIn is built on top of. Ooh. Incredibly bullish. That's bullish. So it's like, we are like upside only on the 7-day here. I think there's something coming to Solana. Also, if nobody realized, meme coin season's starting to shift a little bit. Yeah. But the user basis and the actual activity is at like all-time highs, even though Solana is dropping. So maybe that is where DeepIn
Why are so many people bearish on Solana at these levels? It's like it's already fallen from $200, a significant margin, and you're like, it's going way lower. In fact, I'm going to put up all this money and I get wrecked if it goes up.
Yeah, I'm at fault of this. We do this all the time. It's just research bias. You like fall in love with the chain or an ecosystem, and you're like, that Solana Solana, that's a trash network. There's little pump tattooing it to his forehead. That's ugly. That's lame. But the reality is like that is where the majority of meme coins. I do think Base, by the way, is going to be like the strongest competitor to Sol when it comes to like that meme coin type.
I would agree.
But it doesn't have a token. And it's still way newer. It's still, there's still a lot more development.
ETH is the token.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of tokens, we got people that are looking at the tokens, looking at the charts, looking at the lines. And that man is Kelly Kellum himself. Kelly, I see you don't have the green screen background. You don't have the BitLab background. Are you behind me? Where are you right now, Kelly?
I got to figure out which button.
Just bonking a furry
Hold on, give me a second. I don't even know where that button is.
We got a TJ still learning the buttons. Everybody.
Yeah.
Duke is Ponky's king, guys. That is who he is.
That Duke was up 30 yesterday.
Yeah, hit 10 mil market cap last night. Woo! Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Happy to be back. And I cannot believe that we're back on with TJ. Can you hear me? Everything sounded good?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, awesome.
I think I got to do an advanced VMix call here.
We got some things to talk about within the market, so I'm going to jump into it. First things first, looking at a chart I shared on April 19th, we can see this chart right here essentially shows that we had I was basically calling for 40 to 150 days of sideways post-halving price action. The earlier side of this, a smaller amount, has to do with the earliest cycle. So, of course, it's going to more likely be this larger time period. I basically called this out April 19th. And now, when we look at where we're at right now, we can see the price action. You can't see it behind my head, but the price action is essentially exactly where it should be. And when we measure that out, we're only 62 days into this sideways price action from the Bitcoin halving. So we need to be a little bit more calm right now. Somebody asked me yesterday how I feel about the market because it's not moving. It's like, zoom out. What is this? This is a giant bull trend with the consolidation where at the previous all-time high range. This is exactly what has happened every cycle. This is essentially pushing up to that last previous all-time high zone. And what we see when we got into there, sideways action. So we're doing the same thing as we have done before. Now, in terms of what's going on, everybody was caught by surprise. I shared this chart on June 7th, talking about the likelihood of the price action moving down to 65,000. And that had to do with liquidations. It had to do with a number of other things, which I'm going to get into here in a second. But everybody's wondering, is there capital to flow in? I shared this with Josh the other day. This is the S&P 500, which he's been talking about a lot lately. And look at the capital flowing in here. No money for markets right now. That's why crypto is pulling back. Wrong. Look at this, breaking to new all-time highs as Bitcoin is trading sideways. Now, this is going to create a sort of bullish divergence in a sense on risk in the market coming back into Bitcoin. Of course, Bitcoin is part of the world stage of finance. However, it's also in its own right consolidating at a previous all-time high. Why is it consolidating here? We see capital coming out, meaning capital's not flowing in. Who's not flowing capital in? Well, we're seeing a huge old ancient whales taking profits into this zone right here. This is what they tend to do at a previous all-time high. They take some profits, and then we get that the cycle sort of pushing on underway after this. When we come back over to this chart right here that I was on before, I want to point out that when we're talking about why this selling is happening, not only the ancient whales, but these hash ribbons. To make this simple, this means the miners are basically have turned off for a small period of time. And when they don't have their miners on, they tend to offload some of those coins that they've mined to basically provide a profit since they're not profiting with their miners off. Now, when you see this flip back to buy, I went through and collated this. If you look at the last 5, not considering this one, this was in a bear trend. The last 5 here averaged 121% upside after this flips back to buy. So things are looking actually beautiful right now for people that are in the know. And this is what we're waiting on primarily right here. The correlation between Bitcoin and the Fed liquidity never ceases to amaze me, says TED Talks Macro. Liquidity bottoms in the coming 10 days, essentially at the end of this quarter, then rips higher again. And you can see this is the Bitcoin price. And then you also see the Fed liquidity, and we're on track exactly with this. So when we're talking about what's going on here, this is what I'm really watching. This is how I identified we would likely pull back to $65,000. This price was pushing up right here. You can see the open interest. People taking unsmart bets on leverage here was increasing dramatically. And it was longs because the premium being green here and increasing shows more people are betting, and those people betting are going long, which sets up that imbalance to flush out. The market wants to be healthy. If everybody's going leverage long, you can't do anything about it. So where are we going from here? We got to pay attention to this level directly below us, 63. I do not think this is out of the question coming down into here. As we see from Scott Melker, we have some bearish divergence, meaning price is moving down these highs, but the RSI, it actually got stronger here, yet the price could not go up. So when we're looking at this, we want it to go up, but the data suggests we may get one more sort of washout to the downside. But all in all, we are on track for one of the most bullish bull markets in history. It just
what was
takes
that
some
number
patience
to the downside? Did you say $63,000?
Yeah, 63,400. When we look at that, it's because of this top here, this support, the chop right in here, support here, support here, support here. This is where I'm looking. And what I forgot to mention this. What do you know? That's right about where the short-term holder cost basis is, which is an incredibly important metric to watch when we're considering what's going on in the trend. So that's what I got.
Not only that,
market's looking good.
Well, I was going to say, I pulled up the weekly chart on Bitcoin, and if you look, the candle body closes, because we're chopping around in this range here, and you can see 2 different levels of candle body closes. This is the first level of the candle body closes, but the other level right there at that $63,400 range. So, yeah, a lot of support around there. I would be looking to maybe, if not a real bounce, at least a short-term bounce right there.
No, absolutely. And everybody just remember the market moves money from the impatient to the patient. This is a time in the market that can change your life. If you can be patient, find those dip buying opportunities. If you want to know more, we got that link right down below my face right there. 15 days free in BitLab. Teach you how to do TA, teach you how to manage your portfolio. Get in there before that deal evaporates. lab.bitlabacademy.com/deal. That's what I got. Hope everybody has a good day.
All right. Appreciate it, Kelly. Speaking of dip buying opportunities, I heard they're limiting SKOAL purchases, SKOAL. You can't, they're like limiting dip for whatever reason. All right. Now, let's go to a couple tweets here. Now, pretty cool stuff I want to share. Then something nuts about what Bitcoin needs and top altcoins, including one that's going to make Josh really excited.
Real quick.
Or go ahead.
I did want to mention, BitLab Academy. If you guys don't follow it, that is pinned in the chat there. Like Kelly mentioned, he's running that special deal. Also, he mentioned TED Talks Macro, that Twitter account. That's one of my favorite Twitter accounts or X accounts to follow. Love the stuff that that guy shares and posts. So if you guys aren't following TED Talks Macro, I recommend.
Yeah. Remember how cool TED Talks used to be? Whatever happened. I guess it was just limited things that we could like derive cool information from. Podcasts weren't that popular. Like TED Talks were kind of the pre-podcast place where you would get like cool information. All right, now Bitcoin crowd, the retail crowd is still missing. Can they push Bitcoin above $70,000? I just want to kind of show the headline here and just retail still not here. When is retail going to come in? When it's fresh new all-time highs. Retail is not going to be here retail is not going to be here at the bottom of this range. Retail is going to come in near the top of the range, or more than likely, retail is going to come in above the range. That's when you're going to start seeing retail. So no big surprise we're seeing a retail sentiment muted. Julian Bittel has a pretty cool, he's a macro researcher at globalmacroinvestor.com, head of asset allocation at, what was that? XPAM. Pretty cool thing. I would largely agree with this. It's kind of what Kelly was saying. We're currently witnessing Bitcoin's price action. It's fairly typical around the actual halving. A big pump leading into the halving, followed by a brief but sharp correction, a period of sideways chop, a final dump to nuke any remaining bullish sentiment, another phase of boring sideways trading, and eventually prices begin to rise again. I would say now, looking like we are around in this boring sideways trading range that we've been stuck in for weeks. Basically, this is what I like. The boring zone before the banana zone. TJ, is this cycle still going to have a banana zone?
Yes.
Absolutely. Josh, will we still have a banana zone? That parabolic run up?
Or
for Bitcoin, once we hit that all-time high, just like it did last time, we went from 20 to 60 in a matter of months.
Banana hammock.
Will we have that? Will we have that strong banana hammock?
I mean, look, chat, spam bananas if you believe we're going to see the banana zone. I want to see the bananas in the chat, guys. We can let the spam happen for a little bit. Get some bananas in there. But I do believe, we can see I don't know if Bitcoin's going to have the banana. I don't. I think Ethereum could see it. I think Bitcoin's going to be more of a, there's always a blow off top that will have that effect. So yes, but I don't know if that's 120. I'm not going to be like Bernstein out here who came out and said $250,000 today or 200K. That was like the major news event today. But I do believe, there's going to be, you always get that FOMO and that euphoric stage where it is like just this up and right curve only. And that's where most people, unfortunately, end up entering the market. But yeah, I think we will see that.
Someone asked what happened to NPR. 2016 happened to NPR. You don't know how right you are. That is the exact right answer. Populism, the rise of populism, aka the rise of the power of the people, aka, hey, isn't that kind of what Bitcoin's all about? They do not want that to happen. They want to stop that from happening. And that's why we see attacks on crypto relentlessly. But there's some things that might be prime for an opportunity. Some of these things aren't under attack. They're working with the big players. Now, this is Wrecked Fencer's top altcoins. Number 2 is going to be Josh's favorite for sure. Guess who it is, Chad? I wonder who it is. This market feels like summer 2020. TJ, weren't you saying that yesterday?
I was.
You were. What is up with it? We got to start recording all the things because everybody's saying the things we're saying privately in our conversations here. Right before alts went parabolic, GCR, gigantic Cassocked rebirth. I'm putting out a video on him, Martin Shkreli, and DJT, probably going to go out tomorrow. He's a crypto trader who made over $1 billion. He was the top trader on FTX. So he Wrecked Fencer scanned 600 alts and found several 10 to 100x alts for this cycle. I'm going to go ahead and give it a like. Always like Wrecked Fencer's work here. He always does this. Before we jump in, could I ask for a favor? You gotta like Wrecked Fencer, and I'm sharing it on this screen here. So GCR saying we're still in a bull market. If you want to see that tweet, he just did it about 2 days ago. So you can check that out there. Here we have, I thought it was the Duke monkey for a second. This is why he's picked
Duke.
11 promising tokens. Number 1, Tau, Open Tensor, market cap 2 billion. Tau, you do see it on the big movers. I would say if you see a really red week, probably going to be a pretty good opportunity because this thing moves. Yeah, it overly moves. You see it in the top 10 movers a high percentage of the time there. Number 2, Ondo Finance. If you look at the price right now, $1.17, market cap $1.6 billion. I've thrown out the $20 billion. That's kind of my target for its peak this cycle. You're going in higher though, aren't you?
No, 20 billion would be above where I'm at.
Okay, so what do you think its market cap hits?
I mean, I said it could do like 10x at 70 cents. So I'd put it about, $7, which I think that would put it around a $16 billion market cap, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But either way, it's impossible. We don't know how fast that tokenization is going to be adopted. I mean, we check this every single day. We got to do it again today. U.S. Treasuries still 1.57% or 1.57 billion here. I don't know if it's updated yet today. I think it updates later at night. So, but what we're looking at here, it's bad that I know that. I'm pretty sure it's like a 6 p.m. like re-register. But yeah, we're still looking at, only up on holders and market caps for a lot of these projects.
I was reading the chat. AI is merely rebounding after printing new lows. And I went to the 3-month chart on AGIX. Stop hitting me with your facts there. But if you go to Max, you'll see, all right, hey, we've dipped harder in the past, everybody. All right, back to, where was this? Okay, SSV. We got SSV is number 3. Popcat on Solana. I bet there's probably some holders in the chat right now. There's a meme coin on Solana right there.
Seth, if Ondo goes to $50 billion, I will host the greatest Ondo party somewhere in the Bahamas. Like we'll just go to an island and we'll retire, and that's what we'll do. That's just what we're gonna do. We're gonna duke off for a week.
Better start buying more if I'm retiring off that.
I gotta retire.
That'd be a 35x or so. All right, that'd be pretty good.
That would be massive. That'd be a lot of money.
Here we have one with a really good name and a fairly low market cap. 0x0 Exchange, or OXO. I don't know how they pronounce that. We also have non-playable coin NPC. This is going to be a meme. That's also, I would say that's a pretty good name. We have ETHFi, liquid staking derivatives. I think Johnny likes them.
Multiple memes in this.
IXS. This is a RWA play. I have seen people in the chat talk about this one. Let me know. Type in IXS if you hold this one. It's only $127 market cap there, 127 million. Photo finish game, Inc IAI, MAGA hat. Okay, yeah, he has a lot of memes out there. Yeah, so Wreck Fencer probably holds all of these folks. So take all of that with a grain of salt. Here we have, all right, that was the
which ones are ads? Tell me.
Here we have a time chain stats. It's another website that Johnny just found for you guys. It's just a bunch more Bitcoin stats. So if you're really just want to see things like hash rates, let's see, fees, difficulty adjustments, when's the next halving. It's if you're one of those like people really care about what the ledger's doing, there you go. It's a really cool website. Let me just say it one more time. timechainstats.com. Not sponsored. We just like sharing good info.
Chat's got a lot of guesses here on market cap. Guys, what's your dollar? Okay, what is your price prediction in dollar amounts on Ondo? I'm curious. Like $5, $10, $12, $15, $200? I'm just kidding. No, I don't think it's going to go that high, but I'm curious to know. But you're going to say something, TJ?
I just wanted to emphasize the importance of some of those kind of websites that DZ was talking about, data. And you guys touched on it earlier when you were talking about how you assess projects and how they're doing. Looking at the underlying metric data like wallet holders, 24-hour volume, exchange
GitHub
volume, transfers back and forth, all that sort of stuff. Connections on the network, nodes being run, all of those TVL, all of those things that aren't as obvious as the price matter dramatically when, that's kind of where we were talking about some of the nears and we were talking about in the office this morning, Matic. Like if you believe in Matic, it's extremely oversold right now if you believe it's still going to be around, but their underlying network stats are still very important. So you need to know how to go to these research sites and look at the underlying things, kind of like Josh is doing all the time with Ondo. That's one where you can do it with Bitcoin, and it gives you investors confidence if you can look at it and you say, okay, I believe in this network. The price is falling. I don't exactly understand why the price of Bitcoin's pulling back, but I can see new wallets are going up, holders are going up, exchanges, exchange rates going up, 24-hour volumes going up. Like the network hash rate is going up. The network is growing. So if you can see a growing network, it doesn't always reflect immediately in the price, but generally it does in time. So
Toncoin's a good example of that. All those Toncoin
Yes.
metrics were skyrocketing, and then you saw Toncoin, kind of catch up price-wise later. Someone's asking about Aerodrome. I've seen a couple people ask about Aerodrome. Aerodrome is way down. Now, we got in somewhere around this first pump. So I guess if you got in late, you may be near break even. If you bought the top, you are definitely down. I found some good news, though. I found a little bit of a blip of hope, a glimmer of hope. It may be hard to see. TJ, I don't know if you can see that. Look how crazy high that volume candle is right there. Now, that's big, big whale money right there. That's not retail. That's not, Johnny and Jimmy and Susan selling their $50 Coinbase portfolio. This is whale entity movement. Do you think a whale bought or sold here?
Bots.
Yeah. I'm thinking bot.
Really big reasons.
I'm thinking bot.
I got to find the article again, but from a user basis,
it's
transaction
basis
volume,
DEX.
Aerodrome passed Uniswap for a glimpse. Yeah, I don't think it still is today, but there was a moment where it actually surpassed it.
Well,
so if
that's
we were to
speaking
do
to TJ's point right there.
market cap compare, right? Let's do this. I want to see what would Aerodrome be with the market cap.
Of Uniswap? Don't even get me that excited.
Okay. We're looking at a 19x. And so, look, I don't know if that's going to happen where it hits that range, but if it's actually surpassing the transaction volume, I think it could be a decent competitor. But I don't see why this can't do a 5 to 10x from where it is today.
And let me make people think that's a little bit more likely than they may initially think. They're talking about Uniswap's price today at a $8 billion market cap. So that's at a $8 billion market cap. Let me actually just be accurate. $7.4 billion market cap. That thing was above 20. And so that 19x would actually be a 3x or on top of the 19x. So you're looking at a 57x if it were to be those heights.
Yeah, we have Danny Bird asking a good question. Josh, are you planning on holding long-term on Ondo? Guys, I don't plan on really holding much crypto after this bull market. I mean, that's just a cyclical thing. So there's going to be a bear market, right? So we can only adjust as new metrics come in. I mean, if BlackRock comes out and is like, hey, we're actually going to be working a lot closer with them and these things happen and it gets a lot of volume, I'm going to be taking tons of profit. Will I sell all of it? I don't know. I can't tell you that. That's not where I'm at today. But what I can tell you is I've already taken, profits on it. That's how we bought the new car, that we just got the Tesla 2 weeks ago. I'm going to take profits in this bull run. If you're seeing that do a 5, 10x, there's a lot of money in there. I'm always going to take profit. So it really will be up to where we're at in Q1 of next year. But it's at the end of the day, the entire crypto market, a lot of these are risk on assets. So when we do see that pivot in interest rates, I expect not just meme coins, guys. I expect all utility tokens. I expect Bitcoin. Bitcoin might be in a different position, but still, I expect
Well, you better
all of
say
them.
that.
Yeah,
you said risk. You said a risk on asset. There's one person who say Bitcoin is the least riskiest purchase you can make in your entire life. It is the apex asset. No asset even compares to Bitcoin. Of course, I'm talking about Michael Saylor. Everybody, did the Mad Lad buy? Well, what do you think he did? Of course he did. He bought $800 million worth of Bitcoin. I feel like he just closed this yesterday, and it's already deployed. There was no long-term DCA strategy. There was no waiting for the dip. He ended up just deploying it at an average cost basis, $65,883. Right now, we are, look at that. He's down. He's down.
That's
$600.
my point with
Do you
Michael.
think he cares?
He is a multi-billionaire. He is playing a different tax bracket than everybody in this room and in this stream. Unless there's billionaires watching the stream. Maybe there is. But I have to point out the obvious. Bitcoin is 1/3 the size of NVIDIA. So if you don't think that when NVIDIA and tech stocks and Alphabet and Google and the Magnificent Seven take a hit, Bitcoin's not going to take a hit. Until Bitcoin's like $3, $4, $5 trillion, I'm going to be like, yeah, it's going to get hit. It will drop by 30-40% easily. Yeah, and that's where I want to take advantage. And right?
Bitcoin's only 10% of gold.
Yeah, I can't go raise $700 million and then just buy more Bitcoin on dips. I don't, that's, I know some people are like,
wait, what you just described to me is a free money glitch.
Yeah, I don't know what you're actually, I take that back, guys. You only need 700 millionaires to be able to go do that, right? So I definitely have enough friends that are millionaires to go raise that.
Our chat.
Yeah, Ray in the chat says, hit the like button for DZ's impeccable segue. Love that. We have about 911 people watching right now, 200 likes. So Come on, if at least half of you could hit that like button, obviously, we'd really
I
appreciate
have
it.
flexed my segue muscle too hard. I find myself doing it with my fiance. And I'll be like, and speaking of, and I'm like, what am I
He
doing?
just cuts
I'm
off our
like, I'm talking to
conversations.
my fiance
Yeah.
here. Like, I was just asking about, how we're going to season the chicken this evening, I'm like,
Speaking of seasons, it's almost fall, and in fall, markets crash.
I'm like, what
You're
am I doing?
"Oh,
I'm sitting
hey."
here like bringing up spring and trying to connect it to paprika. And I'm like, just stop. Not everything has to be a segue, DZ. All right. But on that note, I'm just going to cold switch into Germany. All right. No segue. 17 hours ago, the German government transferred out 2,000 Bitcoin, of which 1,100 of it had been deposited into a centralized exchange.
Oh,
I like how they spread it around. That's pretty-
interesting.
but what's really interesting, they have seized 50,000 Bitcoin from the operator of the pirated movie site, Movie 2K, earlier this year, about 5 months ago. They actually hold 47,000 Bitcoin worth $3.1 billion.
Well, they're cashing in a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
did they just sell out? Is that what we got the dip from?
Yeah.
Was it just the Germans?
It's just the
They're
Germans.
just gonna go-
What's up with the Germans
Some of the
ruining
Germans,
everything?
man. You guys are just mean. Like
Yeah.
I just went to Europe for the first time. Germany, the meanest people.
Really?
Oh, no.
The meanest people.
All the Germans I've met, like foreign exchange students, they're all super nice.
Yeah, I've
What-
met a lot of really nice.
They're dude. Well, and it's just the culture. Like when you go there, it's like they don't bring you a check, right? So you have to like ask for checks and do things. And like,
Well, you don't get refills.
to be fair, I was in like Munich, and they're probably just tired of tourists. It was peak season. This was like we went to the Christmas markets and everything. But yeah, if you compare like Budapest, Prague, and Germany by far, like they were just the most stern people.
There's like, these stupid Americans.
All right, yeah. I wonder if they have like any kind of history of sternness or just kind of being different
I
than the
don't
rest
know.
of Europe.
I don't know.
I don't know.
It's still a great place. Beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful culture, beautiful
Great.
people. But yeah, if I
We
I'm
love
just
the
saying,
Germans.
Yeah.
We love the Germans. I'm actually half German. For those who don't know.
Really?
Yeah. Last name. I'm not going to say my mother's maiden name. Never
No,
mind.
probably
Ooh,
not a
almost-
good idea.
Whoa.
Does it
Yeah,
start
we
with
don't
an
share
H
that.
and N and Lur?
No.
Okay, so it's not that
yeah.
bad.
So yeah, my mom, she was German. So
There you go.
all right. Coinbase holding roughly $55 million in Bitcoin. Sorry. Wait a minute. $55 billion in Bitcoin, according to Glassnode. Why? They have a custody agreement with a lot of the ETFs. And yeah, here we see a vast fraction of both aggregate exchange balances as well as the US spot ETF balances via its custody service. I'm not worried about Coinbase custody service all of a sudden getting hacked and all of a sudden some hacker has $55 billion. But if it was 2015, 2016, I would say, that's a little bit risky. But I think they got their buttons in a row here. Javier Milei says there would be free competition of currencies. So if you want to use Bitcoin, there will be no problem. So Javier Milei just keeps getting more based and more based. And so you'll see a lot of bad data about Argentina. And then when you dig into it, it's like, yeah, their inflation, from a year ago. And if you look at their deficit from a year ago, man, bad numbers. But then if you look at the last 5 months, they've been at a government surplus over the last 5 months, which is like not really happened in their recent history. Also, their inflation, like 8 months ago, 10 months ago, and then like the last 5 months is just, way on the decline. So Javier Milei, IMF, globalists, they're probably not going to like what he's doing over there. A major crypto step from the National Bank of Australia. They chose the cryptocurrency sector for its new investment. This is the venture arm of the National Australian Bank. And so the venture arm of this bank made a strategic investment in Zodia Custody, a platform that provides institution-level custody of cryptocurrency and digital assets. TJ, do you
Yes.
think is there any percentage odds that they're maybe setting up government approval and so they're investing in an institution-grade custody arm? Like maybe Aussie pensions or state, local, or maybe even federal governments over there are going to start holding Bitcoin?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely a possibility. I think governments all around the world right now are looking at if they should custody Bitcoin, how they should custody Bitcoin, how it can help them in the economic, race going forward.
Now, follow-up question for both of you. Is this all due to Iggy Azalea?
Well, men will do anything for certain things. You know what I'm saying? Especially lonely men in crypto. So, no, I think this is just a step towards. I'm very curious to see where Australia goes from this. And maybe there's some Australians in the chat that can help with this. But I know they have a huge surveillance system. So I don't know if they're going to be positioning this more towards CBDCs, very tight regulations on stable coins or their own digital version of their dollar. But I do think it's a positive step no matter what. You're going to have crypto adoption. There's going to be two sides of this. European states are very much more socialist, so you might have a bigger integration or chance at a CBDC there. Where in the United States, it's more capitalist. So there's going to be a lot of people fighting against the central bank digital currency, and that's already been embedded. It'd take years to go through the Supreme Court. So I'm very curious to see where it ends up. But no matter what, it's bullish for markets in general. Bitcoin's going to be adopted on mass scale. I think it'll be in every single country.
I could teach everybody how to speak Australian. Could you or TJ type in raise up light? Like 3 words, raise up light.
Raise up light?
If you didn't know, that is how you say razor blade in Australian. That's not a knife. That's a raise up light.
So, that's pretty good. Well,
hey, today, hit that like button if you didn't have on your bingo card today. I'm going to learn how to speak Australian. Isn't that English? All right. Now, Thomas is tweeting out about U.S. banks sitting on over $500 billion in unrealized losses in their bond portfolio. So when are banks going to, how many banks need to fail before they move Bitcoin from a luxury to a necessity? And so we have stemmed the bank crisis for now, but some are saying they just kicked the can down the road. The roosters are still going to come home to roost there. I'm more bullish than ever on crypto. Jeremy Allaire, he's the CTO. No, he's the founder of Circle, correct? No, he's the CEO. Circle CEO Allaire, optimistic about crypto's future. Wait a minute. A crypto CEO is optimistic about crypto's future? Color me surprised. Ted is tweeting correlation between Bitcoin and Fed liquidity. Never cease to amaze me. Yeah, liquidity bottoms in the coming 10 days, then rips higher again. Get ready. We've talked about this.
Yeah, that's the same thing Kelly pulled up.
Yeah, same thing right there. So,
but it's very true. You can track the global liquidity and the Bitcoin price very closely. So when the Fed's printing, the Bitcoin price pumps. So buckle up.
Yeah, it's straight market manipulation right now. I mean, if you look at there's not a bear case I can find that goes, wow, that makes sense this month that we're just done and this market's top. Like truly, I would not expect it. I don't think any analyst on the market would expect like crypto just to crash from here, except the ones that are like gold bugs and just don't actually understand anything. Have been selling.
Well, there's a way to avoid making your portfolio crash.
And that is by keeping your crypto in self-custody with something called an Arculus card. Now, what is an Arculus card?
I heard it's where you could easily secure, store, buy, swap, send, and receive crypto with a single tap.
Whoa. You're telling me I could do this from my phone?
With a tap.
Oh my, how does this work?
I mean,
what am I tapping? Am I
there's a rumor they may have Neuralink integration soon. Who knows, man? You might not even need a tap soon.
You just tap it to your head, and it's just like that scene with that kid that's smacking his head against the basketball. No, guys, this is sexy self-custody. Guys, get your crypto off exchanges. If they're not your keys, it is not your crypto, okay? Nobody wants to pull out a USB drive. You're not going to impress a chick with a little USB drive, but you pull out this crisp, clean, black Arculus card. Look, I'm just going to say, this is a flex at a dinner table, and it may work. Maybe not.
And anyone who had to break into their own home, you need a hard card to, slip through. You don't want to mess up your credit card or your Costco
it's metal.
card.
It sounds good.
Yeah, it
feels good.
It is good.
I got a full $26 worth of Bitcoin on mine. Just don't tell her that.
All right. It is getarculus.com. You can use code DC10, save 10%, or they have a 25% military discount. So
there you go. The link is in the
description there. All right. And real quick, Fed Reserve, they are planning, we've talked about this kind of yesterday, 125 basis points rate cut this year. But then, Josh, 100 in 2025, and then another 100 in 2026. Long-term macro guesses are never correct. And so I don't think anyone is going to be able to accurately...
I can't predict what 197 countries are going to do every single year, DZ? No way.
Not when it's 582 days out in the future.
I don't know. I think North Korea is going to shift. I think we're going to see a beautiful democracy emerge in 125 days.
Henry Smith, you're amazing, and we appreciate the positive sentiment. Everybody hit that like button. Now, this is a very crazy story, but what are you going to say?
While you pull up this next story, guys, give us your craziest Simpson predictions. Okay, what's going to happen in the next year? Next 365 days. What are your guys' macro predictions? What we going to get a...
Biden hot swap.
Biden hot swap. Okay.
Yeah. I made that prediction 2 years ago that he wasn't going to run again, and I'm like running out of time to be right. So now I'm just like grasping at straws.
Got the hot swap. I like that one. Who's the hot swap? Michelle,
Newsom. It's Newsom.
Dude, Newsom.
He's too slick.
Look, I gotta say, dude, the dude's handsome.
He looks in the mirror. He looks in the mirror in the morning, spews bullshit, and then uses that grease to slick his hair back,
and it works.
Yeah, it works. I mean, trust me, I'm jealous.
It is when you type in politician on Google, he pops up. Kind of crazy.
Hey, metal bum. My bum is on your like button. Everybody, hit that like button. Appreciate the appreciation there.
We got Mickey in chat still performing CPR and Pulse Chain. That's
Pulse Chain probably will rise, folks. Richard Hart.
What is even happening? Is he just on the run?
Look, Richard Hart just has to say, "I'm gonna start marketing again," and that thing could do a 10x.
It might rise, but can you actually withdraw it? That's the question.
Yeah, where is this? Where is he? Where is? I have actually not.
Yeah, what the hell do I do with my Pulse ETH?
You know,
I don't know. I really don't know. All right, sir. All right, this is a crazy hostage situation in the crypto world. Certic holding $3 million hostage from Kraken as exchange threatens employees. A cybersecurity firm made a suspiciously large number of transactions to test a vulnerability in the crypto exchange. And so they basically found a vulnerability and they proceeded to drain $3 million and then they kept it. They confirmed that they were the cybersecurity firm in question, and they're pushing back against Kraken because Kraken is now saying, hey, the Kraken is now threatening its employees with legal action. Kraken claims that the people identified as security researchers managed to maliciously credit their account with $4 and then shared the vulnerability with two other individuals who then used that same exploit to withdraw $3 million from exchanges. I looked into what the exploit was. You could add to your account, and before it confirmed, there's like every exchange has different confirmations. It might be 10 ETH blocks that are 11 seconds. It might be 2 ETH blocks. But basically, they found before it confirmed, you could trade. And then they found that exploit and they pulled off $3 million. And they said, hey, we're going to keep this. This is part of the bug bounty. And they're like, no, like we have a real bug bounty and it's not $3 million. You can't just steal $3 million and say that's your bounty. And they're like, yeah, we can. And they took it to Tornado Cash. Well, the crypto community, they're calling it extortion. Certic, though, they're saying, hey, it's in the spirit of transparency and our commitment to the Web3 community, and we're just trying to protect all the user security. They urge Kraken to stop any attacks against white hat hackers. They're saying, hey, you're going against the wrong people. We're on your side. We told you about the exploit. Sure, we pulled off $3 million first, but we told you about the exploit. We're good guys. Josh, what are your thoughts? Is $3 million too much? They're saying, hey, it could have been a lot worse. Be happy it's only $3 million.
I'm kind of with Certic on this one. I mean, look, can they give it back? Sure, but also Kraken, like, get your security up. That's completely on. That's on them.
See, I'm on the opposite side of that. I'm very much against Certic on this as a security auditing firm that claims to help people and like they're supposed to audit smart contracts. There's been some rumors of other malicious things. This is basically they found an exploit, they told their friends about it, and they let their friends exploit it, and they don't think there's a problem with it. That is illegal activity.
And they use Tornado Cash.
I'm not saying it's a good thing what they're doing. I just like what are we gonna do about it is kind of like the situation here. It's more like that's just existing there's so many exploits out there that we don't know about that are being exploited right now. And I feel like Certic was just like, all right, like, I don't know. It's a weird situation.
I mean, it's
I don't
illegal
think it's
hack
good.
is my point. Like if you're supposed to be a security company that's here to secure stuff, you don't steal from exchanges. You just don't, like that's, what are you going to do about it? Nothing. Like what can Kraken do? Nothing really. But Certic, I think this is a huge misstep by them as a company to take this stance. Like, their job is to find vulnerabilities in contracts. So what do you do?
I would say this. They're probably no
engineers
longer hired out anymore. Like I would never hire them ever.
Exactly. Like
Like,
why
hey,
would you ask them
exploits are
to
they
vet
doing?
your security if you think they might share those vulnerabilities with people to exploit you? Like that doesn't make
You're going
any
to give
sense.
us the report on Tuesday, but you shared it in your Discord on Monday, and like we lost all this money in the 12 hours.
For me, it's like I know this sucks, but like I feel like every other auditing platform is probably doing the same thing. Like how many of these people are actually exploiting exploits before they either like we just don't know. We don't know. And so like when I look at like how a lot of these bonding curves and how these liquidity pools work and how these sniping bots and tools are being used, I'm like,
I think dialed in kind of along.
how do we get rid of that?
Well, there's a lot. Sure. How do you get rid of hacking? I mean, this space is, like a don't trust anybody. Like you're going to have malicious actors in the space. My issue is these are malicious actors parading at, like they just called themselves white hat hackers. That is not a white hat hack. That is not how that works. That was a black hat hack. Yeah, you're an exploiter. You're a hacker. You're stealing money from people. Don't say you're a security company. Bottom line, period.
Jimmy
Don't
Bitcoin.
ask people to give you money to help find a vulnerability if you're going to exploit them for money. Like it just doesn't. They're just hackers. And if
Chad's
they don't
throwing out
clean
some
that
pretty funny
up,
examples.
What's
It's
that?
like Brinks telling their buddies how to get into the bank vault.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like, I don't know. I feel like every auditing company does that. That's just how, like, I just expect it. So I don't think it's a good thing what they did. I just don't think we can get rid of it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, well, someone said, it's like if a car door is unlocked, doesn't mean you can steal the car. We're never going to get rid of car theft, but let's not say car theft's
So
okay,
should they have not came out and said that they did it?
There was an official bounty reward. I can't recall, maybe 150K or something. They should have just said, you know what, that's what we'll take, and we're not going to exceed that.
When they didn't come out with it. They got caught. People realized, and now they're trying to cover the trap.
And they lied about the date at which they found the exploit. They're like, we found it on the 16th, but then the blockchain sleuths were like, well, people were using this exploit on June 4th.
Like way before then?
12 days before.
Okay, that's pretty bad.
So,
yeah, they're bad. They're liars, basically. That's not good.
Liar. Well, you're a liar if you said you hit the like button and you didn't hit it. So go ahead, remedy that. Hit that like button. It doesn't cost you anything, but if you got carpal tunnel in your wrist, maybe it costs you a little something there, but go ahead and hit that.
What was the other one right now? Was it Arkham Intelligence doing the $150,000 exploit too? That was Zach XBT. Did you do that video yet?
Arkham. I have to reshoot it.
Gotta reshoot it.
Too many things happen.
Okay. It's still rolling.
Folks, I'm covering the Donald J. Trump, Martin Shkreli story. I actually shot a video yesterday. I edited the beginning. I was going to finish editing this afternoon, this morning. I have to reshoot it. There's too many things have happened.
To the top of Google.
I
it made it
have
to the top of. I have the Google News. Yeah, they have like 4 articles on this. It's all starting to trend today.
There was TJ. I'm not even kidding you. There was a Mario Space. Mario tweeted out excerpts from it. 23 unique tweets with like 2-minute clips. And so later on today, it's a multi-hour space. I got a lot of research I got to do later. Someone said, look at XRP. Hey, it's up a little bit, but it's still doing its best job at being a 50-cent stable coin. So, hey, congrats for the XRP holders, though. You're up 0.9%. I just want to kind of cover one more thing on ETH. ETH, someone gave out a bold prediction. I don't know why they added the 25 there. 4,225% pump, according to VanEck analyst Michael Siegel here. And that price, $154,000 ETH. He's saying we could hit six.
Sorry, one more time.
$154,000 Ether there.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that is, it would be capturing 90% of all smart contract value intermediation. That seems a little bit high. Near holders, Solana holders, Cardano holders, they would like to have a chat with you. Then 50% of the advertising market hosted on open source blockchains, 25% of information technology infrastructure, ASI, artificial intelligence, ASI would like to have a talk to you with that. So there's basically saying, we destroy every other altcoin, and all those altcoins, do their stuff on Ethereum. And in this world, it's worth $154,000. Yeah, sure. If every other L1 fails, sure. Yeah, sure. That's going to happen. But yeah, some number of these coins, sure, they may not make it, but the vast majority of the strong projects like a TIA, like a Solana, like a Cardano, like a Near, they are going to make it. So,
to be $100,000, I just compared ETH, Nvidia's like stock price at multi-trillions. That would only be that's a 7x. I'd put Ethereum at 27K. So they're saying essentially it'd be 6 times bigger than Nvidia.
They didn't have a year time. He's just saying, in the future. Now, one more XRP for the XRP holders. A lot of people say the channel hates XRP. I still hold it.
Oh no.
TJ, do you still hold some?
No.
It was on KuCoin, and remember when they shut off KuCoin to Americans? There's 2 coins that are still on the exchange that I can pull off. It's DAG and XRP, in both of which where I don't want to get a new wallet.
Yeah.
And that's why. I just didn't. I have too many freaking wallets. I didn't want to add another wallet.
Had a call with the DAG team just recently. They've got some interesting stuff coming down the pike as well. So
Drew loves DAG. Loves it. All right. Well, speaking of Cardano and Ripple, yeah, I love Cardano. I know. Ripple fans, here you go. Here's a little XRP mention. Is targeted by the short traders, the short sellers amid post-relief bounces. So heightened shorting of ADA and XRP could be a positive signal for people like me who are the patient bulls. And so heavy shorting is happening according to Sentiment. And they're finding on Binance, they have spiked into positive territory multiple times, indicating a dominant shorting versus longing ratio since September of 2023. And for the former in May 2024 for the latter there. However, Sentiment believes the heavy shorting activity could be a positive signal for patient bulls. Josh, we were talking about that. Too many people are sharding. They're sharding and shorting all over Cardano and Ripple. Do you think both those coins can pump in the next, say, 6 months? Are they going to be higher by the end of the year? For me, it's an easy yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
TJ, ADA, XRP, both going to be higher by December 31st.
XRP might be the same. I'll be saying
XRP is still going to be 50 cents.
Yes, they'll be
higher by the end of this year. Yeah, sure. But I
a reluctant, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll go up with everything else. I just don't think it's going to be exciting. And I had wanted to read this funny comment. I just lost it.
Was it raw?
No, it was CMGZ510. XRP still a better store of value than the peso for sure.
Yeah, I guess take your wins where you can. Look, I do it this way. In chat, we can get it from chat here. Type 1 in chat if you want to make money. Type 2 if you don't.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to make money in crypto, I'm looking for other opportunities.
I don't want to make money.
I'm in it for the tech. Like, no, we're not. You're not. Take the profits, So I just look at them as blue chips, and I do think they'll be higher than where they are today. If I was looking at top 20 projects, though, I personally would be in like Solana, Ethereum, Chainlink. Ondo, I think, will be a top 20. I'll keep saying that in there.
All right. Now, Dex Hunter, one cool thing for Cardano. Cardano's traffic is 3x over the last few days. A lot of that is going to be the Nike meme coin. That thing has been pumping. And Masari has a Cardano ecosystem report that is out. I'm definitely going to have to read that in full. Hopefully, that's the post paid paywall there. If not, maybe we'll look. Do we still have that?
Sorry?
Yeah, Masari. I remember we talked about it like the Masari crypto report in like 2022, maybe.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to go look. I'm sure.
Yeah, I have to look. I'll ask Tim Shed that. So, folks, that is the show today. I appreciate you all joining. Hit that like button on the way out. If you hold some ASI or some of the coins under there, if you hold some NEAR, you hold some Bitcoin, you hold some ETH. XRP fans, we try to give you the section today. Show some love. Cardano holders, we got to pump that algorithm. So go ahead and hit that like button as well. See you folks in the future. And I'm going to find out what the hell happened with that DJT token. Was it the Pharma, bro? Was it Baron?
I guess we'll never know.